Hello, in this video we are going to discuss what is reserve analysis. So reserve analysis is a concept related to risk management in project management. So we are going to understand what exactly is reserve analysis and what are contingency reserves, what are management reserves. So we are going to discuss that in this video. Before we get started with this session, my name is Anita Myana. I am from CertifyEra. I do conduct different trainings for certifications like PMP, CAPM, Agile Certified Practitioner, Agile Scrum Master, Agile Scrum Product Owner, and different more certification specific trainings. Other than certification specific trainings, I also conduct different trainings for different corporates, for business analysis, for technologies like Oracle, SQL, PLSQL, and different more technologies from the IT industry. So that was about myself. Let us get started with the session. So as to understand reserve analysis, first let us understand what is risk. So risk in project management is defined as some uncertain event which might occur in future. So risk could also be referred to as unknown because it is uncertain that whether the risk will occur in the project or not, and what is the impact or what is the level of impact it will have on the project objectives. There could be opportunities in the project life cycle and there could be threats. So risk could be an opportunity, it could be a threat. So we need to manage both opportunities and threats in the project life cycle by adopting different risk response strategies. So here we are going to understand how do we plan some reserves so as to manage some of the project risks. So unknown is also a word that is used for referring risk. So let us try to remember this so as to understand the next concepts in the next slide. There could be some risks in the project which are identified by the team. For example, there could be some equipment in the project and the team already knows that this particular equipment is old enough and it might get breakdown in next 2 to 3 months, which is known. So this is known as identified risk. Identified risk is also known as known risk, or it is also known as known unknowns. So we will try to manage identified risks or known unknowns by planning some reserves. And there could also be some risks in the project which are not identified by the team, which are not anticipated. So these risks are known as unknown risks or unknown unknowns. Now we need to plan some reserves for managing the known unknowns and some reserves for managing the unknown unknowns. So we need to plan the reserves both in terms of schedule and cost so as to make for any kind of delays or any kind of cost overruns that might happen in the project life cycle. So now let us try to understand the cost estimation so as to understand how do we plan the contingency reserves and how do we plan the management reserves. So in bottom-up estimation technique, we try to estimate the activities in the project and we try to get the activity level estimates and we try to aggregate the activity level estimates to get the work package level estimates. And we try to aggregate the work package level cost estimates to get the control account level estimates and so on. So finally we get the cost baseline. So at the activity level, if there is some risk and if there is a possibility of some cost overrun, so we will try to add some contingency reserve to the activity level estimates. There might also be some risks at the work package level, so we might add some contingency reserve at the work package level also. So contingency reserves are planned for managing the identified risks, for known risks or known unknowns. The risks which are identified and documented by the team in some project document called risk register. So contingency reserves are planned for known risks or identified risks. After we have derived the cost baseline, now it is time to plan some reserves for unidentified risks or the unknown risks. So for unidentified risks, we will try to plan some management reserves. For example, if the cost baseline of your project is $80,000, over and above this $80,000, the project management team and different stakeholders, they will try to add some management reserves, maybe of $25,000 or so, depending on the project, the industry, the domain, the complexity, and various other factors. They will try to decide the management reserves. So if they add management reserves of $25,000, so cost baseline of $80,000 plus management reserve of $25,000, it will give us project budget. So contingency reserves are planned for known risks at the activity level or work package level, or maybe at the project level also. And management reserves are planned for making the unknown risks or unknown unknowns. So let us try to summarize the contingency reserves and management reserves in the next slide. So contingency reserves, we try to plan for known risks or known unknowns or identified risks in the project. Management reserves are set aside for managing the unknown risks or emergent risks or unknown unknowns or unidentified risks. And at regular intervals in the project life cycle, it is recommended that the project management team should revisit these reserves, that is contingency reserves and management reserves, and they should consider to revise these reserves so as to effectively manage the risks. Sometimes they might have planned some management reserves of few dollars, but in the next risk management meeting, they might feel that this much amount of management reserves might not be enough to effectively manage the risk at the project level. So they might try to revise the management reserves. So revising the contingency reserves and management reserves by considering the risk severity at regular intervals is known as reserve analysis. So reserve analysis is analyzing the contingency reserves and management reserves and considering to revise those reserves so as to make for any losses in the project life cycle is known as reserve analysis. So reserve analysis is one of the important concepts to be followed and implemented from risk management perspective in the project management. If you want to listen to more such, or if you want to watch more such knowledgeable videos or more such project management concept videos, please stay connected. Thank you.